Hello, everybody. My name is Avantika. Welcome to Chapter 6. This is from the NCERT book. And today we are going to be doing the Chapter 6, that is Tissues, Part 1. And please keep your books open in this case because you have to refer to the book as we go. It is not enough to just look at the slides and look at the video and think it is done, but you have to keep taking some notes in your book and you have to keep referring to the book. So please keep your books on the ready and we will proceed. So what is a tissue? We have seen in the previous chapter that a cell is the basic fundamental unit of life, right? It is the basic structural unit of life. So a tissue is a group of cells that comes together to achieve a particular function, right? These cells may be similar in structure and they work together, or they may not be similar in structure but they always work together to perform a particular function. Okay, one tissue always has only one particular function and the cells always work in tandem and in coordination to achieve that particular function, whether or not they are similar in function, okay, similar in structure. Okay, but they are always similar in function and they work together. Okay, multicellular organisms, like we also saw in the previous chapter, they are made up of millions of cells, right? And those millions of cells have specialized functions, right? Those specialized functions are performed by groups of cells. So for example, cell A and cell B perform the same function. To work in coordination, they will come together and they will form a group of cells and they will perform the same function. That function is specialized and there is a division of labor. So there are different groups. For example, this is one group of cells that is performing a specific function. Then there is another group of cells that is performing a different function. Okay, and they all have specialized functions. So this group of cells will not perform the function of this group of cells. They all have different specific functions that they perform as a group of cells. And the cells performing similar functions, like I told you, like this and this cell, they will come together if they're performing similar functions. They're always grouped together at definite places because that gives the highest efficiency possible, right? To make the organism most efficient, it is important that the cells come together at a specific place to perform a specific function, right? If they are individual like that and they keep performing that function, it is not going to be very efficient. एकदम ही it will be very random, कहीं कुछ भी हो रहा है. That is not how it works. So a tissue comes together, cells come together and at a particular location and they perform that specific function to give the highest efficiency possible. It is important to remember that plants and animals are made up of different types of tissues. This is a given because plants and animals also have different types of cells, right? We had seen that plants have a cell wall and animals don't have a cell wall, right? And plants also have chloroplasts, plastids that animals don't have. And so you have seen different types of these differences in the plant and animal cells. And because plants and animals by themselves are so different, then they obviously have different types of tissues and different type of functions that need to be done by those tissues. So what are the differences between plants and animal tissues? There are some obvious differences. We know that plants are stationary, except for some unicellular plants like you saw in the last chapter, like Chlamydomonas. Most of the plants are stationary, that is, they remain in the same place, then they are upright, right, standing. And to have that upright position, they need supportive tissue. Even the plants that don't remain upright also need some amount of supportive tissue, right? Like you have climbers that need support to grow, but even then they have some sort of supportive tissue is needed. Of course, they have less supportive tissue than the plants or the trees that you see that are standing upright, and that tissue needs to be dead because the living tissues are generally thin and they cannot provide any support to the plant. So you need dead tissue to provide support. Animals, on the other hand, need to move for a lot of things. They need to move for food, for shelter, for mates, and they consume a lot more energy than plants. What is energy? ATP, right? ATP, we saw in the previous chapters about mitochondria, and that provides ATP, adenosine triphosphate. So animals need a lot more of that ATP than plants do, right? And because they need to keep moving and they don't need they have like a different specialized tissue. We'll see this ahead also. For support they have less dead tissue. Okay, so these are the main differences that you can see. The pattern of growth is different. For example, plants, they have growth limited to certain areas. So plants will always grow only from certain areas. A plant doesn't just grow overall, right? They will always have certain areas from which they grow, right? And they divide throughout their life. Yani puri zindagi they keep dividing. You must have seen all these I don't know if you have heard of the sequoia plants. They are like hundreds and thousands of years old, and they keep growing and they're so tall. If you go to some of these forests in the US, you'll see these very 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 tall plants. And you know, even in India, for example, if you have seen, if you have been to Kolkata, then there's in the botanical garden you can see this ficus tree which is grown for 200-300 years now, and it has become very very large. So plants just keep dividing and growing throughout life. They don't have except certain types of plants, they keep dividing through their life, and that is very important. Animals, on the other hand, may or may not divide through life. There are certain animals that do keep growing through life. For example, elephants. But and the growth is not limited to certain areas. They grow overall. Everything, the whole thing grows. The whole animal grows, and it is not कि बस नाक से ही बढ़ेगा या फिर only the arm will grow. Plants grow only in certain areas, whereas animals growth is not limited to certain areas of the organism. Okay, there's also structural organization. It is less complicated in complex plants as compared to complex animals. For example, all these big trees that you see, the structural organization is still less complex than those complex animals that you see. For example, all tigers and even humans, for example. um, Again, this is the final. This is plants are stationary, they're sedentary, and they manufacture food, right? Since plants manufacture food, they don't need to move around to find food, which animals need to do. So animals have something called active locomotion. Locomotion means movement, right? Locomotion means going from this place to that place. Active means, of course, they have to keep moving here and there. So animals need to move to find food, which plants don't need to do because plants manufacture food. So because of these differences, there are different tissues in animals and plants which are specialized for different functions, and some of them may or may not be similar, but most of them are different. Okay, we will, in this part we were going to see about plant tissues. Okay, so plant tissues can either be meristematic or permanent. They can be meristematic or permanent. Okay, so what is meristematic tissue? Meristematic tissue is dividing tissue, and that is found only in certain regions of the plant. Like I told you in the previous slide, that plants only grow from certain areas, from certain regions of the plant. They don't grow overall, right? So meristematic tissue is the dividing, it is the living tissue, right? It is the one that keeps dividing. In the previous chapters I had told you something about differentiated cells. I had told you something about cells that don't have any kind of specialization, but they keep growing. For example, in animals it is called stem cells. In plants it is called a meristematic cell, meristematic tissue, right? The meristematic cells come together to form meristematic tissue. They are found only in certain regions of the plant. Initial meristematic cells are like a meristem, but they grow and mature into differentiated cells, right? So what happens is the meristematic tissue, the cells of the meristem, they grow and they divide and they give rise to cells exactly like them, like the meristem. But that is they don't remain like that. Most of them grow and mature into differentiated cells. Of course, there is one constant meristem. If all the cells of the meristem were to get differentiated, तो फिर वो सारे differentiate हो जाएंगे, meristem ही नहीं रहेगा. There won't be any meristem left if all of them differentiate. But there is always a stock of meristematic cells, and they produce some cells जो जाते हैं and they get differentiated into different functions. They grow and mature into differentiated cells that have different functions. There is an example that is in your book about this onion bulbs. You can do that if you wish. It is actually quite an easy thing. Of course, you have to do some measurements, but I think that's it. It's actually pretty easy to do and pretty straightforward. You take two jars like this, jar 1 and jar 2, and you take two onion bulbs and ensure that the roots are immersed in this water, and you measure root length from day 1 to 3. So before you take that, so when before you put the onion into the jars, you take the length of the root, and then on day 1, after you put it, on day 2 and day 3, you keep measuring the length. Then what do? You will see which you will have. Again, you can answer this question, which onion has longer roots, but that isn't very necessary. Then what you do is, you from this jar 2, you take the onion bulb and you cut the tips of the roots, right? Usko bas chop kar do, just remove the tips of the roots, and then you put it back. Then you will see whether or not these roots still grow. Okay, you will see that in jar 2, when you remove the tips of the roots ऐसा होता है ना? So ये jar 1 का या jar 2 का, if you remove the tip of the root and you just keep it like this, if you remove this tip, it will stop growing, right? But this will keep growing, right? Jar 1 will keep growing because it has the tip. So that means that the growing region of the onion root is in the tip, right? Because if this stops growing, that means there is no meristematic tissue left. There are no more cells that will be able to divide and form new cells. So we will look at this in the next slide. So depending upon where the meristem is present, there are few different types of meristem. One of them is called apical meristem. In the roots and in the stems, you have something called apical meristem. It increases the length of stem and root. If you ever see a plant that is growing, it will always grow like this, right? It will always grow straight like this. So the stem also grows from the tip, and the root also grows from the tip. This photo is taken from an experiment that I did. So this is actually from confocal microscopy, and these yellow dots that you see, they are fluorescent protein. Those are showing the meristematic part of the root. This is a root, and this red thing is stain of propydium iodide. But this yellow, this will show you the meristematic zone of the root. So if you chop this off, it cannot grow from that part any further, right? This is called apical meristem. It is in the apex, that is why it is called apical meristem, and it is in the growing tips of both the stems and roots. सिर्फ stem या सिर्फ root में ऐसे नहीं होता, it grows from both ends, right? ऊपर से भी नीचे से भी it keeps growing. So that is apical meristem. Then you have the intercalary meristem. It is located near the node, right? What is the node? A node is from these places where the branches come out from. This is called the intercalary meristem. It is especially obvious in plants like grasses or bamboo and stuff, where there is elongation also between. These are nodes, right? This is node, this is one node, this is one node, this is one node, right? Intercalary meristem is between these nodes. In grasses vagera, this helps in the elongation between the nodes also. This is called intercalary meristem. Okay, then you have lateral meristem. Lateral meristem is found lateral, as in it is apical meristem is like this. Apical meristem is here, intercalary meristem is here. This is found lateral, longitudinally. जैसे ये अगर stem है, तो apical meristem इतने tip में होगा, intercalary meristem internodes में होगा. Okay, by the way, this is node. This part is called internode. So intercalary meristem is in the internodes, and lateral meristem is on the sides like this. It is surrounding, ऐसे ऐसे surrounding होता है, and it increases the girth of root and stem. It is called the cambium. Okay, it is also called the cambium. We'll see something about this later in the slides ahead. What is meristematic cell? It is a very active cell, right? It has a dense cytoplasm. It has thin cellulosic walls. The cell wall is very thin, because it doesn't need a lot of support. It just needs to keep growing. If it has a lot of cell wall, तो बहुत it will consume a lot of energy for no reason, right? So it has thin cellulosic walls. It has a prominent nucleus. Why does it have a prominent nucleus? Because it is dividing, right? And it lacks vacuoles. Why does a meristematic cell lack vacuoles? It lacks vacuoles because it doesn't need to store any food because it keeps dividing, right? Vacuoles are for storage. Vacuole storage के लिए होता है. Since it is a meristematic cell, it doesn't have a differentiated or specialized function other than dividing, right? It does not have any vacuoles, right? वो आता है, वो बनता है, it keeps dividing, it doesn't need to store food. Then we come to permanent tissue. So cells that are formed by meristematic tissue may take up certain roles and then they lose the ability to divide. So meristematic tissue जब कोई cells बनाता है, so either those cells remain meristematic. In order to make new cells, of course, you need to maintain a stock of meristematic cells, or they lose the ability to divide and they take up certain roles. यानी वो स्पेशलाइज हो जाते हैं, वो अपना डिविजन का जो उसका वो एबिलिटी होता है वो उनका रह जाता है. दे लूज दैट एबिलिटी. दिस इज इंपॉर्टेंट टू रिमेंबर. परमानेंट टिश्यू कैन नॉट डिवाइड एनी मोर. अगर परमानेंट टिश्यू में नया सेल चाहिए तो उसमें वो मेरिस्टेमेटिक सेल से ही आएगा और फिर वो मेरिस्टेमेटिक सेल जो होगा वो उस रोल को ले लेगा, राइट? एंड दीज टेक अप सर्टेन स्पेसिफिक रोल्स. This process of taking up a permanent shape, size and function is called differentiation. I have talked about this in the previous video also. They are differentiated cells. This process in which the meristematic cell takes up a permanent shape. Remember, meristematic cells take up a permanent shape, a permanent size and a function is called differentiation. And differentiation leads to development of various types of permanent tissues. एक meristematic cell can go to various different pathways of differentiation. वो एक meristematic cell है तो वो वैसे ही differentiate करेगा, ऐसे नहीं है. This meristematic cell can become this, it can become this, it can become this, right? So differentiation leads to development of various types of permanent tissues. There is an activity in which you take the cross section of a plant stem. This is actually what it looks like under the microscope. This is a cross section. What is a cross section? If you have this as a pen, if you take it like this, like if you make a horizontal cut to it, it is a cross section, right? It is a cross section, right? Perpendicular to the growth, it is a cross section. And this is the cross section that you can see. This is stained by safranin. This is what it generally looks like. This is what you see in there. These are all the permanent tissues that you see. All of these have certain specific functions that we will see ahead. Okay, this is what one of these looks like, right? This is a stylized diagram. So ये जो है ना, इस पे यहाँ पे focus किया हुआ है. Cuticle is a covering on the epidermis. We have talked about epidermis in the previous chapter when we had seen that you take the onion bulb ka peel and then you have an epidermis. Epidermis means outer skin. So the outermost single layer skin is called epidermis, and cuticle is a layer on that. It is not a cell layer. It is not a cell layer. It is just a simple layer. जैसे आप वैक्स वगैरह लगाते हो ना, वैसा एक layer होता है. It is just cuticle, right? Epidermis. Then you have collenchyma. We will see these ahead. Then you have parenchymatous tissue. You have something called phloem, which is also differentiated tissue. You have something called xylem, right? And this is the cortex. This is a parenchyma. All right. So these are different cells that you see here. You see this is again, you see it's not, I'm sure it's not very clear, but this is the epidermis. Then you have collenchyma, parenchyma. Then you have phloem. You also have cambium in this, right? This ring that you see, this is the cambium or the lateral meristem. This is what it looks like. It is present in these things. This is called a vascular bundle. We'll see what this means ahead. ये जो सारे दिख रहे हैं, these are vascular bundles. एंड इसमें केम्बियम होता है। हाँ, अगर आप इसमें देखोगे तो आपको इसमें और कोई मेरिस्टेम नहीं दिखेगा, आपको इसमें सिर्फ लेटरल मेरिस्टेम दिखेगा। इफ यू टेक अ क्रॉस सेक्शन यू विल ओनली बी एबल टू सी द lateral meristem. This is, you will find it in each of those vascular bundles like this, right? It is called the cambium. This is the pith, this is the cortex, and these are different areas of the cross section, which I don't think is very, you should just remember this diagram, right? These are different types of cells and we will see these all ahead. So there are again different types of permanent tissue. The first one is a simple permanent tissue. The few layers of cells beneath the epidermis are generally simple permanent tissue. In the previous one you saw this epidermis tha upar, and then there were few layers of cells that were just there, you know, वो simple बस cells वैसे ही दिख रहे थे. Those are simple permanent tissue. In this there are three types. One of them is called parenchyma. They are relatively unspecialized, right? They are relatively unspecialized. They don't have very specialized functions. They have thin cell walls and they are living cells, right? They are relatively unspecialized. Cell walls thin होते हैं and they are living. They are loosely packed. Loosely packed यानी ऐसे ऐसे होते हैं. They are like this, which means they have a lot of intercellular spaces. What is the difference between inter and intra? When you talk about inter, I don't know if you have done this, but it is important to revise. Inter means between or between cells. Intercellular means between two cells or between many cells. This is the intercellular space, right? This is the intercellular space here, right? What is intra? इंट्रा इज विद इन द सेल. सो सेल के अंदर जो होता है उसको इंट्रा बोलते हैं. सेल के between two cells is called intercellular, right? So intercellular spaces होते हैं parenchyma में. They have thin cell walls, they're living cells, and they generally store food. These can be specialized further ahead if they contain chlorophyll, green pigment chlorophyll. In the chloroplasts they perform photosynthesis, right? And they're called chlorenchyma. Chyma है chlor for chlorophyll. Chlorenchyma, they perform photosynthesis, they contain chlorophyll. In aquatic plants there is another special type of parenchyma in which there are large air cavities. We will see this in the next slide. I have put photographs of all of these which help the plant float. For example, aquatic plants कौन से होते हैं? Lotus होता है, water lily होता है. There are various types of aquatic plants. You must have seen Eichhornia or water hyacinth. They grow in large numbers on like lakes वगैरह. It is a invasive species, वो ठीक है बाद में देखेंगे. But you must have seen those. They float on water, they grow in large numbers, and they have beautiful purple flowers, right? So that is also a type of aquatic plant which floats. And what helps it float? A parenchymatous tissue which has large air cavities. So it stores air between those cavities. That is called aerenchyma. That air makes it very light and helps the plant float. Then the second type of simple permanent tissue is called collenchyma, right? It is flexible. It is flexible. It bends without breaking, but it gives a certain amount of mechanical support, right? It is thickened at the corners. So if for example ऐसा है ना, so they have some amount of substance here जो उसको थोड़ा thicken करता है between in the intercellular spaces. Okay, so that that allows it to give it mechanical support while still being flexible, right? When you have climbers वगैरह में आपने जो देखा है, where you see that the climbers they wrap around the plant like this, or they have tendrils that attach to certain places, that requires flexibility and mechanical support, right? So that is given by collenchyma. It bends without breaking, right? It is found below the epidermis. हमने previous slide में देखा था कि epidermis के नीचे collenchyma दिखा था. They are living cells, right? They are elongated and they are irregularly thickened, and there are very little intercellular spaces because that space is taken up by the thickening by a certain substance जो उसको वहां पे deposit हो जाता है, and it makes it stronger than parenchyma. Okay, then you have sclerenchyma. What is sclerenchyma? Sclerenchyma is the dead tissue, right? It is a dead tissue. The cells are not living. In parenchyma and collenchyma, the cells were living. Sclerenchyma, the cells are dead. They are hard and stiff, okay? And they are long, narrow, and lignified. The long cells लंबे होते हैं, the narrow cells because they don't have much content in the cell. That is why they are very narrow. And they're lignified. What is lignified? Something that is thickened due to lignin. Lignin is another type of polymer. Um, yeah, I don't know if you know that word, but it is a polymer. It is a certain kind of substance which gets deposited around in the cell walls. It is lignified, and there are often no intercellular spaces. You see these in the bark of the stem in a plant tree के जो ऊपर जो bark होता है, you see it in that. You see it in coconut husk, coconut, the covering, the hair of the coconut on the up the husk, that is made up of sclerenchymatous tissue. It is present in stems in vascular bundles, right, to provide support without needing to do any and this is a thick support, right? It is not very flexible. It is found in the veins of the leaves. When you see a leaf like this, there is the main vein, right? Even in that you have sclerenchymatous tissue. It is found in the hard coverings of nuts and seeds, you know, nuts, walnuts वगैरह होते हैं, the hard covering, that is sclerenchymatous tissue. So basically cork, for example, cork, you saw that cork cells में sclerenchyma ऐसे वो rooms cells देखे थे, right, उसमें. So that is sclerenchymatous tissue, that is dead tissue. So this is parenchyma, right? It is thin cell wall. These store food, so they are nice and turgid. They have intercellular spaces because they are loosely packed. हाँ, एकदम tight pack नहीं होते. They are loosely packed, so they have intercellular spaces. This is collenchyma. This is from your book. This diagram is from your book. You have living cells, you have cell wall, and there are in these cell walls, in the intercellular spaces where there could be intercellular spaces, you have wall thickenings, right? They give support while still being flexible. And then you have sclerenchymatous tissue which have thick lignified cells. This is what it looks like. This is transverse. Again, transverse is cross section like this, and then you have longitudinal section. So एक cell जो ऊपर से ऐसा दिखता है वो side से ऐसा दिखता है. It is very long and narrow. The thick the cell wall has lignin deposits in it. So and the lumen is narrow. The cell in itself is very thin. It is narrow. It doesn't have any much content. That is why it is very narrow. This is what it looks like. This is parenchymatous tissue, right? All of this that you see, this is all of these big cells that you see like the bubbles, these are all parenchymatous tissue. Okay, this all is parenchymatous tissue. ये सारा जो छोटा छोटा दिख रहा है, all these cells, छोटा छोटा नहीं, these big ones, right? These ones, and you can see that they have intercellular spaces here, you have intercellular spaces here, you have them here. So these are parenchymatous tissue. This is chlorenchyma, right? They have specialized function, that they have chloroplasts. They are chlorenchyma. These are the cells in close view. This is all chloroplasts, and this is a cross section of a leaf, right? So on the upper side of the leaf, you will find chlorenchyma. You will find uh, parenchymatous tissue that has chlorophyll in it, which helps in photosynthesis. So this is chlorenchyma. Then you have Erenchyma. So this is a cross section of an aquatic plant. If you have an aquatic plant का stem, उसका cross section लिया, this is what it looks like. So these are the air cavities here, and these air cavities provide buoyancy. They help the plant to float on the water. उसको हल्का बना देता है, इसलिए वो it floats on water. Then you have collenchyma here. ये जो है collenchyma यहाँ दिख रहा है. You can, this is epidermis. You can see these few layers beneath the epidermis is collenchyma. These are similar to parenchyma in that they are rounded, थोड़ा irregularly shaped, but they have these thickened corners, and it is not very regularly thickened. ऐसे नहीं है कि यहाँ पे जितना thick है उतना ही उधर भी thick होगा. They are irregularly thickened, and they are flexible and provide mechanical support. This is the sclerenchymatous tissue. Even here you will be able to see sclerenchymatous tissue. You see this? This is sclerenchymatous tissue. These are very narrow lumen, but the cell walls are very thick. They have lignin in them. They are dead cells. Okay. So we come to epidermis. Epidermis is the outermost single layer of cells on the entire plant. It is a continuous layer and it has no intercellular spaces. Why does it not have any intercellular spaces? Because it would defeat the function of having a continuous layer. अगर उसमें intercellular spaces हो गया, if you had intercellular spaces on your skin like that, जगह होती, so you could just absorb anything and anything would just go into your skin, for example. So because of that, there are no intercellular spaces. This is what an epidermis looks like. This is from the leaf. Okay, this is from the lower epidermis. Right, what is the lower epidermis? If you have a leaf like this, अगर ये plant पे ऐसे leaf grow कर रहा है, हाँ, ये ऊपर का पार्ट है जहाँ पे सनलाइट आता है. इसके नीचे का जो पार्ट होता है ना, डोर्सल, ये जो इधर सन हो रहा है, तो यहाँ का जो पार्ट होता है जहाँ से हमने रिमेम्बर रियो लीव्स का, आई डोंट थिंक यू हैव डन दैट. एनीवे, सो नीचे से जो होता है लोअर एपिडर्मिस, यू विल सी दीज cells, right? Under the microscope it looks like this, right? These are the cells and these, ये जो हैं, these are called guard cells. These kidney shaped जो हैं ये, these are called guard cells, and the spore between them is called a stomata. This is also from a confocal microscope, also taken by me. So you can see this, and if you see this here, this is a guard cell which is not, this is all fluorescent protein. So ये fluorescence में ऐसा दिखता है under a microscope, right? So this is, we'll see what this does. In dry habitats, epidermis is thicker. Normally it is a single layer, but in dry habitats the epidermis is thicker to prevent water loss. उसमें से पानी ज़्यादा pass ना करे, इसलिए it has a thicker epidermis. Okay, and often there is a waxy or water resistant layer on the outer surface. Like I showed you about cuticle, cuticle लिखा था. Cuticle also, again there is also waxy coating. If you see lotus leaves, for example, they float on water, but if they would just float on water, then eventually the cell, there would be some sort of a damage to the leaf. If you look at the leaf, if you take it out, you will see that water doesn't remain on it, right? It just flows off. That is why it is water resistant covering होता है उनके ऊपर, क्योंकि there is a waxy water resistant layer on the outer surface of dry habitats or for aquatic plants also, that prevents loss of water, prevents mechanical injury and invasion by parasitic fungi. This happens by the epidermis, right? This is the function of the epidermis. Prevents loss of water, they prevent mechanical injury, and they prevent invasion by parasitic fungi. Okay. There are small pores on the lower epidermis, like these pores that I just told you about. This pore in the middle. This is called as one is called a stoma, and many are called stomata. Right? These are enclosed by these guard cells, specialized guard cells. These are also green in color. They have chloroplasts. They are called guard cells. They guard the stomata. They can be like this or they can be like this. They can be closed or they can be turgid like this. When there's a lot of water, they are like this, turgid, and they allow the water to pass through. If there is less water, then they close up like this and the stomata closes up. This happens in desert plants, right? In desert plants, the stomata is closed up like this. In other plants, the stomata is open. The guard cells are turgid like this and they open up. Stomata is necessary for gaseous exchange and for transpiration. What is transpiration? It is loss of water in the form of evaporation. What is the role of transpiration? देखो क्या होता है, when a plant takes up water from its roots, right? It takes up water like this. Eventually पानी कुछ तो होना चाहिए ना, I mean कहीं से तो जाना चाहिए, because if it keeps taking up water, right, then it will just swell up like this. What happens is from these pores in the below and lower epidermis से water comes out like this. And this happens only when there is enough water. So the cells are like this and they allow water to pass through it in the form of water vapor, not droplets, water vapor. Huh? And transpiration also does one more thing which you don't need to know right now. It is in the higher classes, even at graduation level. It allows turgidity of this of the cells, right? It allows the cells to remain turgid, and it allows well, anyway, it doesn't matter. For gaseous exchange also, so carbon dioxide is taken in and oxygen is given out, है ना? So when oxygen is given out, that is stomata. हाँ, photosynthesis में carbon dioxide is taken in, right? And oxygen is given out. So that is gaseous exchange. Carbon dioxide is important for photosynthesis, right? हमसे उल्टा होता है. We are doing respiration, we are taking in oxygen. Plants, when they are doing photosynthesis, they take up carbon dioxide and give out oxygen. And transpiration, okay? Transpiration. Again, transpiration is also important for the formation of clouds. If you ever see a water cycle, you will see it written as evapotranspiration, which means water body से तो evaporation होता ही है, but plant से जो transpiration होता है, that also is involved in the formation of clouds and for the water cycle. Okay. So epidermal cells of the root are do water absorption. They bear long hair-like parts. So they have something called root hair, which absorbs the increases the absorptive surface area. ऐसे root hair आता है on the upper surface, which helps the water absorption to take place, right? This happens through osmosis. Remember, we had talked about osmosis, that absorption of water happens through osmosis. So this root absorption takes place through the roots of the cell, through the epidermal cells of the root, okay, through the root hair. In desert plants, there is a thick layer of cutin. Cuticle, cutin का एक thick layer होता है. It is a waterproof layer on the epidermis which prevents the loss of water, right? It prevents the loss of water. It makes the cells waterproof. इसलिए जब desert plants होता है, it does not allow water to go from inside of the cell to outside. It allows water retention in the plant. इसलिए plant मरता नहीं है. That is why you need a thick layer of cutin on desert plants, on the epidermis, right? Again, the outer layer of a tree is different from that of a young plant. There are a lot of plants that grow up to become trees. Not all of them do, but there are a lot of plants that grow up to become trees. So the outer layer is different. I'm sure you have observed it when there's a young plant. The stem is thinner. हाँ, उसमें वो it is softer. But tree का क्या होता है? The tree का जो outer layer होता है, it is thicker. Why does that happen? That happens because of the secondary meristem in the cortex, which forms layer of cells constituting the cork. This is far too difficult a sentence for you to understand without any explanation given in your book. So I am just going to give you a couple of lines of explanation which is not generally given in your book much. Anyway, so this is this. They say that these are cork cells, that cork cells are formed. What happens is, when I told you about vascular bundle, remember I told you कि ऐसा vascular bundle होता है. You saw this ऐसा ऐसा था, and then you had the phloem here, and then you had the xylem here. I told you that there is a band like this which passes through all of this. This is called the cambium, right? What happens is, this is the lateral this is the lateral meristem, right? Lateral meristem or cambium. And what it does is, when the plant grows, so ऊपर इसके ये phloem और xylem के बीच में होता है. What it does is, it makes secondary cortex, right? It forms a secondary meristem. And ये जो phloem होता है ना outer side का, this grows in a way that it grows like this, because it has to grow laterally. It doesn't grow like this, right? It grows like this, outer inner ऐसे grow करता है, right? This is what a cambium grows. This is the direction of the growth of the cambium, and what it does is basically grows outwards so that the phloem outside it gets crushed, right? It gets crushed, and that forms a cork. It forms sclerenchymatous tissue. It dies and it forms sclerenchymatous tissue. It will form new phloem also, secondary phloem वगैरह होता है, but it grows in a direction so that the pith becomes smaller, and this pith, this inner part, it becomes smaller because this ring, this vascular cambium, this ring that you see around here, it grows like this outward and inner, so that the plant grows in girth, in width, and the phloem, it gets crushed to form sclerenchymatous tissue, cork, and that provides a lot of mechanical support, right? So lateral meristem, वैस्कुलर कैम्बियम यानी वैस्कुलर बंडल में, दिस इज अ वैस्कुलर बंडल, फ्लोएम एंड जाइलम जो होता है, सो दैट कैम्बियम इट मूव्स इन अ वे दैट आउटवर्ड एंड इनवर्ड्स सो दैट इट मेक्स द गर्थ ऑफ द ट्री बिगर, उसको उसकी चौड़ाई बढ़ाता है, राइट? सो cork cambium, you don't have to know all these words here, I'm just trying to explain what this is a very difficult sentence without, again, without having any explanation in your book. So this is what it is. So cork cell, it forms cork cells which are dead, like sclerenchymatous tissue. They are compactly arranged and they have no intercellular spaces. And जो भी छोटा छोटा space है उसमें suberin आता है. There is another, you have a lot of now words to know about lignin, suberin, like lignin and suberin are in sclerenchymatous tissue. So suberin होता है, it makes it impervious to gaseous exchange and water. इसमें there is no more any stomata or any pore to have gaseous exchange, and even it is also impervious to water, so that water doesn't enter inside, right? So this is what happens in the secondary meristem. In the cortex forms layer of cells constituting the cork. Okay, so we come to complex permanent tissue. We had been doing simple permanent tissues, parenchyma, collenchyma, sclerenchyma. Now we come to complex permanent tissue. They are made of more than one type of cell, right? When I told you that in the first slide itself, that tissue is formed by a group of cells which may or may not be similar in structure, but they all have a similar function, right? They work together to have a similar function, to perform a specific function. So these tissues are made up of more than one type of cell, and these cells coordinate to perform a common function. Okay, in this case, what is the common function? The common function is conducting water and food, right? Xylem and phloem, when we saw the vascular bundle, they have xylem and phloem, right? Xylem and phloem, they are conducting tissues. They help in the conduction of water and food from one part of the plant to other, and they constitute what is called the vascular bundle. Okay, xylem have various type of cells called tracheids, vessels, xylem parenchyma and xylem fibers, right? I'll show you better photographs in the next slide. Book में कुछ ढंग से दिया ही नहीं हुआ है, right? This is a tracheid. So this is a tracheid. This is a vessel. They have pits, right? And this xylem parenchyma. Xylem parenchyma is a living cell, storage of food, right? Tracheids and vessels are tubular. They are tube-like, हाँ पाइप जैसा होता है वैसे. They have thick walls and there are many of them are dead cells. हाँ उसमें dead cells बहुत होते हैं. Xylem gives a lot of mechanical strength to the plant, right? Because tracheids and vessels also have a lot of dead cells and they also have xylem fibers. Xylem में ना parenchyma बहुत कम होता है. Xylem gives a lot of it. Most of xylem has very thick walls and they also have thickenings on the walls, right? So they help in the transportation of water and minerals vertically. जब प्लांट पानी लेता है ना रूट से ऊपर जाने के लिए, वॉट एवर द कंडक्शन हैपन्स थ्रू xylem, right? The conduction happens through xylem. Xylem parenchyma stores food and xylem fibers are for support. Phloem, on the other hand, is made up of sieve cells, sieve tubes, companion cells, phloem fibers and phloem parenchyma. Five types of cells. Xylem has four, phloem has five. So phloem looks like this. It is a section of the phloem. This is a longitudinal section. ऐसे कट किया है उसको, हाँ? So they have the sieve plate, which is not a part, it is a part of the sieve cell. So this is the sieve tube element, this is the sieve cell, and companion cell is here. This one is the companion cell, this is the phloem parenchyma. Okay, they all have different functions, इतना याद करने की जरूरत नहीं है अभी. Sieve tubes are perforated tubular. ये जो sieve plate है ना, ये perforations है इसमें, ऐसे 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 pores हैं, हाँ. It is a perforated tubular cells and companion cells support the transportation. You don't need to know what exactly they do. फ्लोएम फाइबर्स है डेड फाइबर्स, राइट? फाइबर्स जिसमें आया वो डेड फाइबर्स होते हैं. व्हाट डज फ्लोएम डू? व्हाट द फ्लोएम डज इज, ये लीव्स में, लीव्स आर ग्रीन, photosynthesis होता है, they convert sun, they use sunlight and carbon dioxide to make starch, make glucose, make food. So this starch is transported from the leaves to different parts of cells including the roots. हाँ, roots में भी जाता है, different parts of the cells में जाता है, different parts of the plant में जाता है. That happens through phloem. From the leaves to other parts, xylem में, from the roots, water, xylem, roots to other parts including the leaves, and food, phloem, phloem food from leaves to the other parts of the plant. Okay, so this is a vascular bundle. मैंने ये focus है इसमें. This is a vascular bundle. You see, this is epidermis, then this is colon-chymatous tissue, this is the phloem. यहाँ पे कहीं पे एक ये vascular cambium है, lateral cambium. Okay, this is the phloem which helps in the conduction of food from the leaves where it is made to other parts of the plant. Phloem के different elements है. This entire thing is called a vascular bundle. There are many vascular bundles like you saw in the cross section, right? So this is what it is like. ये cross section है, and this is the longitudinal section. This is the epidermis outside, this is the cortex, all of this is the cortex. यहाँ पे this is the pith, ये बीच में यहाँ पे ना ऐसा ऐसा होता है ना vascular bundles. This is the pith here, and this is the cambium. This is the cross section, longitudinal section. ये cross section था, this is the longitudinal section, ऐसे काटा हुआ है इसको. This is the xylem, this is the cambium, and this is the phloem. You can see sieve tubes, यहाँ पे perforated disc होता है, and these are xylem tracheates and vessels. This is the cambium, this is the companion cells. This, for example, is a xylem. Xylem has these thickened areas. This is called annular thickening, this is called reticulate thickening. You don't have to know that right now, but these have thickened walls. Tracheates and vessels have thickened walls. This is the vessels, this is the tracheates, this is the cambium. Cambium is meristematic. Phloem has phloem sieve tubes and sieve, you can see these sieve plates यहाँ पे, and these are the fibers, and this is the cortex. So what does xylem do? Water conduction from roots to other parts of the plant, and phloem food conduction from leaves to other parts of the plants. Okay, these are the complex permanent tissue. So what have we learned? We have learned that tissue is a group of cells similar in structure and function that work together. Plant tissue can either be meristematic or permanent. Meristematic tissue is dividing tissue present in the growing regions of the plant. All parts of the plant are not growing, there are only certain regions. It can be apical meristem, apex, apical meristem, intercalary meristem यहाँ पे, and lateral meristem like this. This is longitudinal section में, and if you have a cross section like this, if you cut it like this, you will see lateral meristem like this. It is called the cambium. Okay. Permanent tissue is derived from meristematic tissue once they lose their ability to divide. All of these permanent tissues that you saw, parenchyma, collenchyma, sclerenchyma, erenchyma, chlorenchyma, then you saw xylem, you saw all these different cells of the xylem, you saw phloem, none of them can divide, right? They have lost their ability to divide, and if they need to be replaced, then a meristematic cell will come and take up their role. They are simple and complex permanent tissues. Simple permanent tissues can be parenchyma, collenchyma, sclerenchyma. Food storage, thin cell walls, intercellular spaces, loosely packed. Okay. Collenchyma, mechanical support, thickened cell walls. They have thickenings in the intercellular spaces, but they're also living cells. Sclerenchyma is dead cells, very narrow lumen, and they have lignified cell walls. Okay. Complex tissue, xylem and phloem made up of different kinds of cells. Xylem is made up of 4 different types of cells. Okay, phloem is made up of 5 different types of cells. The tracheates, vessels, xylem parenchyma, and xylem fibers. Phloem is made up of sieve tubes, sieve cells, and parenchyma, and companion cells. That is the phloem. Okay, so this is for part 1. This was the tissues in plants. Please watch part 2. We are going to be discussing animal plants in that, animal tissues in that. So if you like this video, please like it on YouTube. Please give me a comment and please share, please subscribe. Okay, and please, if you have any issues, write to the email ID given below. Okay, thank you.